brought to your attention is one was useless knowledge. That's what I tried to bring to your attention. The second was overexposure to what? Shamelessness in speech, in company, in things you see, and being desensitized to that. And the third is basically the root of all of this, which is a problem of ego. That's really these three things. Now, this is supposed to be a verse on the Quran. So the last thing I want to tell you, remember I said the people of a pure mind, Allah defines them at the end of Al-Quran. So what does He tell us? Basically, He tells us two things they do. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And that's it. He just tells us two things about these people that you need to know at the heart of it. He said these are people who remember Allah all the time. When you remember Allah all the time, you are remembering someone who's greater than yourself. Right? And the more you remember His greatness, the more it reminds you of what? How pathetic who is? You are. It keeps your ego in check. And the more egotistical you become, the more it's a sign of the fact that you don't what? Don't remember Allah. If you were really remembering Allah all the time, you wouldn't have time to be obsessed with your ego. You'd be obsessed with Allah and His magnificent power in creation. You'd be humbled by it all the time. So the first solution to a person with a pure mind is they remember Allah. And then anything that takes them away from remembering Allah, they see that as an enemy. So it's, if your friends take you away from remembering Allah, if it's your laptop that takes you away from remembering Allah, if it's your iPhone that takes you away from, I have an iPhone, it's okay. But it's, right? iPod, fine. iPod Touch that takes you from remembering Allah. If it's your PS3, if it's Grand Theft Auto 57, whatever, right? If that takes you away from remembering Allah, then that's what's turning you into an animal. And actually more like a zombie when you're playing those video games, right? Allah describes the heedless as cattle. أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ. They're like cattle, they're even worse. Look at a kid playing video games. Don't tell me they don't look like cattle. That's all they're doing. Now Allah compares them to cattle because cattle has no idea what's going on around it. You know that? A cow has no idea what's up. A car could pass by on the highway, won't even look up. Now watch somebody who's playing video games. There could be a fire in the house. That's all that's going on. They turned into cattle, even worse. Even worse. Even worse because the cattle, at least it's naturally that way. You were given reflexes. You were made aware. You became worse than subhanAllah. SubhanAllah. So, I don't want to give you a complicated academic lecture. I just wanted to bring forth concerns that I see are the primary concerns for youth, inshallah ta'ala. I just wanted to share with you a heart-to-heart. I don't claim that I'm above these problems. I probably had similar or worse problems when I was your age, but nobody was there to tell me. Nobody was going to say, man, you're messed up. You need to become human. Stop being an animal. Really. When you use a lot of cuss language, don't think you're all hardcore because you can curse. I can curse better than you. But the fact that I hold myself back, you know what that means? I'm more human than you are. That's what that means. And you're less, because you can't control what? You can't control your tongue. So may Allah Azza wa Jal make all of you decent human beings. May Allah Azza wa Jal help you protect your humanity and make you good to your families and obedient to your parents. And may Allah Azza wa Jal make you people who actually care and don't take an apathetic, egotistical approach to everything in life. May Allah Azza wa Jal make you identify your real priorities in life, especially when it comes to avoiding all forms of shamelessness. And secondly, taking care of your parents and being respectful to them. So I'll have to share with you. Assalamu alaikum.
Do we have a Q&A session?
Do we have a Q&A session? No, right? No questions, right?
Can I voluntarily initiate one?
Is that a question or a comment? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering because I thought it's important for maybe you could advise us. How can we deal with those instances when we see individuals who are full of this, like you said, useless knowledge? Like, for instance, you have a movie star, but they're going and adopting people from Africa, and you have like a football player probably getting into a lot of charity, or you're listening to music, and there are instances. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of times what really deviates us is this mix between the good and bad. How you find the good and bad and both in one place, and God starts blurring in our mind that fine line that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws between right and wrong.
It's actually I'm really happy you asked that question. I gave a khutbah about that yesterday. The Quran says something really peculiar. Really peculiar. You have to pay real attention if you want to understand this, okay? A number of times in the Quran you find the phrase وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. Shaitan beautified their deeds to them. The word amal in Arabic doesn't just mean deeds, it usually implies good deeds. It doesn't imply deeds, mostly it implies good deeds. If the evil deeds are mentioned in specific, we find the word su'u amali, the worst of their deeds or evil forms of deeds. So Allah is saying Shaitan beautified to them their good deeds in a sense. What in the world does that mean? Good deeds are beautiful anyway, so Shaitan is doing a good thing. I mean, I would find it bad if Shaitan made them beautify what? Bad deeds. But Allah says no, Shaitan made them beautify good deeds. Why would He say that? You see, there are people who do really, really horrible things. Really horrendous things. And then they do something what? Good. And then Shaitan makes them say, man, you're so good. You do this one good thing. You're such an awesome person. People should be just like you. And they make them, that one good thing makes them forget what? The really bad thing that they just did. Right? So what Shaitan does is, he makes you worry about that one good thing and highlight that. And that's supposed to compensate for all the, by the way, Fir'aun tried this. Musa alayhi salam came to Fir'aun. You know, let Bani Israel go. Fir'aun says to him, Alam nurabbika fina walida? Didn't we raise you as a child? Didn't you spend many years with us? Is that a good deed or no? That's a good deed. You know how Musa responded? Yeah, you did do that a real big favor to me. Does that mean you get to enslave Bani Israel? So you did that really good thing. Thanks, you babysat me for so many years. I guess that lets you become a slave owner for an entire nation. How are you comparing these two things? One doesn't cancel the other out. This isn't, positive and negative in a video game. You lose points for doing this, you gain points for doing that. This one doesn't erase the other necessarily. No. And so we have to understand when somebody does something evil or they're associated with something evil, we call it that. Not people don't only do bad things and people don't only do good things. People do a mix of all of those things, right? And it's okay to appreciate a good athlete. There's nothing wrong with that. But thinking that these are the people to look up to, what do they look up to? What's their goal in life? Once this guy loses his knee in an accident in a basketball game, is he still going to be your hero? All of that. What did you look up to? How high you can jump? That's it. So you're basically only looking at things that are less than. I come back to the same point. Less than human, less than decent. Anybody can do that. But look up to someone who makes you an awesome person. Which is why I didn't say this advice before, but I'll say it now. I'm ranting now, but find older people to be friends with. It's good to have older friends. They're more mature than you. They're smarter than you. They can tell you when they're acting stupid. Friends your age make you dumber. Seriously. Friends older than you make you smarter. Yes?
I'm just looking at the things that you said, that the shaitan would make us with one good thing and highlight it. And with this thing, would the shaitan make us arrogant with this one and forgetting that? Okay,
arrogant and happy with it.
That's the lesson. Maybe it's which is takes the shaitan away from Jannah.
Yeah.
That's the first sin. God isn't even takes the shaitan.
But nobody else has a question, right? And Sheikh Omar is waiting.
Yeah.
I made him listen to me.
Yeah, question there.
It's not right.